If someone in your life seems to constantly delight in your failures, you might not be imagining it. Research shows that narcissists, psychopaths, and Machiavellians experience Schadenfreude at levels up to 10 times higher than normal people. Here's how to spot the warning signs and protect yourself. Have you ever shared some bad news? Maybe about a job interview that went wrong or a project that failed, only to see a flicker of a smile on the other person's face? Or maybe they offered sympathy that felt anything but sincere, followed by a quick change of subject back to their own successes. This feeling, the pleasure derived from someone else's misfortune, is called Schadenfreude. While it's a complex human emotion that most of us might feel from time to time in a mild, fleeting way for some people, it's a defining feature of their personality. I'm talking about individuals with Dark Triad traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Understanding how these traits fuel an intense and dangerous form of Schadenfreude is crucial for navigating your relationships and protecting your mental well-being. Let's break down the Dark Triad. First, we have narcissism, characterized by an inflated sense of self-importance, a deep need for excessive attention and admiration, and a lack of empathy for others. Narcissists have a very fragile ego. They build their self-worth by believing they are superior to everyone else. So, when they see you fail, it confirms their distorted worldview. Your stumble isn't just a moment of misfortune for you. For the narcissist, it's a personal victory. It props up their fragile self-esteem and validates their belief in their own superiority. Their pleasure isn't just a passive feeling. It's an active reinforcement of their entire personality structure. Think about it. If they are the best, then others must be worse off. Your failure is the evidence they desperately need. Next is Machiavellianism, named after the political philosopher Niccolò Machiavelli. This trait involves manipulation, cynicism, and a strategic, calculating approach to life. Machiavellians see the world as a competitive jungle where only the cunning survive. They believe people are pawns to be used for their own gain. For them, your failure is often something they might have even contributed to, directly or indirectly. They might have subtly sabotaged you or withheld crucial information. When you fail, it's not just a happy accident for them. It's a successful outcome of their strategic maneuvering. Their Schadenfreude is cold, calculated, and often linked to a tangible benefit. Your loss is quite literally their gain, whether it's a promotion they get instead of you or simply the elimination of a competitor. They don't feel guilty, they feel smart. Finally, we have psychopathy, the darkest of the triad. This is characterized by a profound lack of empathy and remorse, impulsivity, and antisocial behavior. For a psychopath, other people's feelings are completely irrelevant. They often see others as objects. Their Schadenfreude is the most straightforward and perhaps the most chilling. They enjoy your pain simply because they can. There doesn't need to be a strategic reason or an ego boost. The suffering of others can be a source of genuine amusement, like watching a dramatic movie. They lack the emotional wiring that makes most of us cringe at another's pain. Instead, they feel a detached sense of curiosity or even excitement. This is why their pleasure in your misfortune can feel so empty and cruel. It's devoid of any complex human emotion other than a raw, predatory enjoyment. So, how can you spot this dangerous form of Schadenfreude in your own life? It's often subtle. Look for the concern troll. This is the person who rushes to your side when you fail, cloaking their delight in a performance of deep concern. They'll say things like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I was really worried this might happen. What are you going to do now?" Their questions are often designed to make you relive the failure so they can savor the details. They're not helping you find a solution. They're gathering data for their own enjoyment. Another huge red flag is the one-upper in reverse. When you share a setback, do they immediately follow it with a story about their own recent success? For example, you mention you got a flat tire, and they instantly pivot to talking about the brand new car they just bought. This isn't just a clumsy conversation shift. It's a deliberate act of highlighting the contrast between your misfortune and their good fortune. They use your low point as a pedestal to stand on, making themselves look even better in comparison. It's a power move designed to kick you when you're down. Pay attention to nonverbal cues as well. A person who truly feels for you will mirror your sad or frustrated expression. Someone with Dark Triad traits will struggle with this. You might see a micro-expression, a brief, involuntary flicker of a smile before they compose their face into a mask of sympathy. They might have trouble maintaining eye contact, or their body language might seem overly stiff or theatrical as they pretend to care. They're acting, and if you look closely, you can often spot the cracks in the performance. Another sign is the "I told you so" specialist. This person seems to have a file cabinet in their brain of all your past mistakes. When you stumble, they are quick to remind you of a time you didn't take their advice. They'll say, "Well, if you had just listened to me, this wouldn't have happened." This isn't constructive criticism. It's a way to assert their superiority and intellectual dominance over you. Your failure becomes proof of their wisdom and your foolishness, which is intensely gratifying for a narcissist or a Machiavellian. So when does this cross the line from just being a toxic trait to being genuinely dangerous? The danger lies in the pattern and the escalation. If someone in your life consistently and predictably takes pleasure in your struggles, it's a massive warning sign. This behavior erodes your self-esteem. Over time, you might stop taking risks or sharing your goals because you fear their reaction to your potential failure. You start playing small to avoid giving them the satisfaction. This is a form of psychological control. Furthermore, this Schadenfreude can escalate from passive enjoyment to active sabotage. A Machiavellian coworker who enjoys seeing you fail might start forgetting to pass on important messages. A narcissistic partner who thrives on your dependence might subtly undermine your attempts to get a new job or make new friends. They need you to be in a weakened position to maintain their sense of power and control. Their pleasure in your failure isn't just an emotion, it's a motivation, and motivates them to keep you down. In its most extreme form, particularly with psychopathic traits, this can lead to direct harm. The enjoyment of suffering can be a precursor to more severe forms of cruelty. What starts as laughing at a small failure can evolve into creating situations where you are set up to fail in bigger, more painful ways. If you recognize these patterns in someone close to you, a partner, a family member, a friend, or a colleague, it's vital to protect yourself. The first step is to create distance. Limit the amount of personal information you share with them, especially about your ambitions and vulnerabilities. This is what's known as the gray rock method. You make yourself as boring and uninteresting as a gray rock. When you don't give them the drama or the emotional reactions they crave, they lose interest. Set firm boundaries. If they start their concern trolling or "I told you so" routines, calmly shut it down. You can say something like, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm not in the mood to discuss this right now," or "I'm working on a solution. Thank you." You don't owe them an explanation or a front row seat to your life's challenges. And most importantly, surround yourself with people who genuinely celebrate your successes and support you through your failures. A healthy relationship is one where your well-being is a source of joy for the other person, not a threat. True friends and partners lift you up. They don't secretly hope you'll fall so they can feel taller. Recognizing excessive Schadenfreude for what it is, a symptom of a deeply dysfunctional personality, is empowering. It's not about you. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of their own inner emptiness and insecurity. Seeing you fail is a temporary fix for their fragile ego or a strategic win in their cynical worldview. You are not responsible for their feelings, and you are certainly not obligated to be the source of their twisted pleasure. By understanding the link between the Dark Triad and Schadenfreude, you can spot the red flags, protect your emotional health, and choose to build a life filled with people who genuinely want to see you succeed. Thank you so much for watching. If this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more insights into psychology and relationships. And remember, if you're struggling in a relationship that feels toxic, reaching out to a therapist or a support group can make a world of difference. Take care and see you in the next one.